Askreddit Asks, what's the most I'm turning into my parents moment for you?
I heard a loud noise and instantly got pissed off.
Amen.
Dude, it's so bad. I have 4 kids because I'm a masochist and my oldest has sensory issues, so sometimes he'll just fucking scream for no reason, and I know one of these days it's gonna stress me out so much I just fucking die.
Loud noises causes my sensory to go overboard.
I realized I talk exactly like my father. I use the same speech patterns and I don't get to the point, which annoys me as well as anybody listening.
Sometimes listening to myself talk is like hearing a sampling of my father's dad ISMS played back in my mother's voice. I'm basically just a walking character mashup.
Got really pissed off at something a couple years ago. And realized mid-yelling I sounded exactly like my dad when he and I argued in the past. That was a fun realization followed by mental breakdown.
My 10-year-old nephew let me win a video game cause he felt bad for me. Like I did to my dad 25 years ago on Super Nintendo.
My dad was the other way round. In truest fashion for our family, he was incredibly good at video games. He's 62 now, but as kids early 2000s, we only had an ancient Atari console. He would spend hours beating my brother and I into the ground in Tank Pong. And when I downloaded an emulator not long ago, he still had the magic. Sometimes he would let us win. Sometimes. He's still better than me to this day.
Misa and I were packing and getting ready to road trip to some family's house for Thanksgiving. As I was cleaning up the house, Misa said something along the lines of, "Don't worry about it, you can clean when we get home." I replied with, "I do not want to come home to a dirty house." At that point I realized I'm turning into my mother.
This one, gotta clean before a trip. This is me! Exclamation mark. Can't go anywhere without a good clean! Exclamation mark.
My dad used to come and stand behind the sofa wearing an apron whilst I was watching TV. And put his hands on his hips and watch a bit of whatever was on whilst he was waiting for something to cook. I now do exactly the same thing in my flat with my girlfriend when I'm cooking and she's watching TV. Edit. I get it. You don't like that I used whilst. I'm British. I can only apologize for my nationality.
My dad does not wear an apron. But if he is cooking, he always has a tea towel over his shoulder, and that's how you know he means business. Relationship goals.
Easy. Walking around turning off light switches, complaining about waste of electricity.
Except now with 6-watt LED bulbs compared to the 100 watters from back in the day. It costs 1.7 cents as opposed to 29 cents to be left on for 24 hours at a 12-cent electricity cost. Beaming face with smiling eyes, you want to save on electric. Gotta reduce that HVAC motor from running at 500 watts via better insulation, windows, etc. Edit. Corrected wrong math on a 100-watt bulb. $0. 29, not $2.88.
My 3-year-old told me as I turned on the TV, "Don't turn on the news, Dad." I 100% remember saying that to my parents. There's always a certain age where you go from hating the news to becoming deeply interested in it. Don't turn on the news, Dad. Way don't believe what's on TV.
I repeat stories every time I go home to visit. I'll hear things from my dad that he's either told me by phone already or stories I've heard 100 times. I found that I have also started telling people about stories from my past that I've already told them. Convenient that I don't make up BS. Or I'd have to remember all my BS.
I remember you telling us about this.
Ugh, my mom does this. And now I do. And it pisses me TF off so often. My husband never fails to remind me that I've already told him the story 30 times.
I wake up. No alarm. Every day at 4 a.m. to get ready for work. Just sit up like clockwork at 4. Never thought I would get to this point.
Is it possible to learn this power?
I magically do this for school. 7 a.m. Never later and sometimes earlier.
My dad was a fairly tall guy. I used to hate walking with him when I was about 4/5 because he'd take giant steps and I had to basically jog everywhere while he dragged my hand. My son is now 4 and I caught myself doing that exact thing about 2 months ago. Now I walk slower.
My dad was always digging himself into holes with his dad jokes. But he's passed that shovel on to me. The realization was groundbreaking.
What do you call a man with a shovel? Doug. What do you call a man without a shovel? Douglas.
The moment I saw a high school picture of me, turns out it was my dad's high school picture. I'm identical to my father and it's annoying as can be.
Same. I look just like my old man. Baby pics, childhood pics, all the way up to a picture my mom showed me of my 7th birthday party when he was my age now. But good news is, you know what you'll look like when you're older. And can plan accordingly. Except for your eyes. You've got your mother's eyes. Edit. Thanks for the silver sickle.
When I sit down and make a dad noise, argah.
Don't forget the corresponding noise to get up, HMMPH, or huff.
This used to aggravate me to no end. Now I catch myself doing it as I get in and out of cars. As I stared into the mass of various saved rubber bands and twist ties.
I have to dump the 786 plastic bags my brother will save and keep 5 to 10 of them.
I know this feeling.
The bag struggle is real. I went mushroom picking with my friend a couple of months ago. We ended up meeting my dad and granddad also mushroom picking. I'm Polish for clarification, and mushroom picking is like a national sport here. Edit. For you guys wondering, I mostly pick Kirki. Chanterelles.
If your dad and granddad are still at it, you all must know the proper mushrooms to pick.
Ate at an expensive restaurant and for a sec considered how much better and cheaper it would have been if I made the meal at home.
Now I generally try to only order something that I can't make at home, so I can look it up later and find out how much work it would take to learn.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day, you amazing people.